So, stories build products, align team, and drive strategy. All right, so how will you step into the story? This is me, Andrea. I met you at a garden party in Arendal, Arendals week, eller Almedalsveckan, that the Swedes started, and now I'm here. I know 3 people here. I think everyone is here, actually. I guess you know a bit more of the people that are here. And I guess that you have a goal to maybe get to know a bit more of the ones that you know, but a little bit more of the ones that you haven't met yet. And you on the streaming side, you have to figure out something for networking today. All right. I work with people who work with people and helping people lead, sell, and grow with clarity and care. And what's that? That we can take afterwards. But here, I just want you to remember 2 things. And that is storytelling is about what people don't know yet. And remember that assumptions are the mother of all fuck-ups. And actually that's being said by Mia Tornblom, or something. She's actually from Stockholm. I had to check her out on Wikipedia. So she is 57 years, 10th of May this year. So then you know that. And I normally live here at Hadeland. And in Norway at least, and I guess also in Sweden, mostly just farmers and monarchs who actually swap homes and jobs with each other. All of you, as you can decide a couple of times during your life. And we're kind of stuck with our family's decisions and relations, conflicts, agreements, and different kinds of things. So in 1878, Anne and Iver bought this farm at Hadeland. And I don't know what you see here, but I guess that you can't guess that a little boy who is I'm here to help you, Siri says here. Thank you. So what you don't know, I guess, is that my son, who is living together with us, obviously, he's now 6 years old, and he started his life with 444 grams. That's not much. I actually used to say that I have 2 kids. One was born at 805 grams, and then people are just, oh, that's not much. And then I say 444 grams was the second one. So just to inform you, I stopped making people. Because they tend to kind of lowering a bit too much every time I make them. So this is my last son. But you also cannot see here what we are producing. But the last thing that we were producing and kind of told the world about was happening in this room. And actually, my little son is living there. But what is happening here is that Kongsberg-gruppen, do you know what that is? Those who are working on emerging technologies. And one of the guys working as a technologist in that office, he is working on technologies that we haven't started using yet, at least not on farms. So then the ecosystem surrounding quantum technology was a report that Kongsberg released in January, made at our farm. Typical farming activity, I guess you would say. So, what does this have to do with anything here? Maybe nothing, but that was my introduction. And there's some method. And David started today with questioning, why are you here? And why are you coming here to learn? And I know that Variant is just a perfectly made consultancy firm with professional playfulness. And you have obliged to all of you being enjoying learning. But learning is quite difficult. And also, what David said, that inspirational talks are really shortly and seldomly something you can take with you, because you're not exactly knowing, what did this make me feel? Why was I inspired? Why was I learning something? Or am I able to use it next week, for example? And that should be the thing. What can you do on Monday? I guess Monday will a bit too hard, but maybe on Wednesday, Thursday next week, you are maybe able to do something about the methods you are inspired to get into today. So, how can you use it? If you're starting with, for example, the S, start with the stakeholders. I guess that you are working with different kind of projects, you will call it. But I know that you are talking about it as oppdrag, and that's a great thought, I think, that you are there to do an assignment. Maybe for weeks, maybe hours, maybe years, who knows? Maybe you don't know. Maybe the ones that are making the products you're using or starting to producing, they don't know either. And maybe they set a strategy like, we're going to make 10 billions, blah, 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 blah. Forget all about that on the frames, but try to name them. Name the different kind of stakeholders and make them real for you in your way of working. And what do they feel? I guess you have been to a lot of sessions where we're talking about personas, but then you're making assumptions that maybe aren't real. So, yeah, you can decide what you're doing with that, but try to make them a bit more real and ask questions. And what do they need? What kind of needs are you trying to make a solution in that gap that was the start of the assignment? So, if your story doesn't start with someone specific yet, it won't land anywhere specific, it says. And I don't remember your name, but you were from another project earlier today, and you said almost the same. So I guess this is correct. Do you know your stakeholders? Are you together with them often? Are you the stakeholder, maybe? Think about it. And then talk about the tension. What kind of friction are you meeting? Maybe you are meeting it. Maybe the stakeholders, maybe the users, maybe the users. And is there any real-life constraints? For example, yesterday, I landed at Arlanda, and I always thought that Arlanda must be a really nice, cool, fresh airport. But then I actually had to wait for my luggage for 1 hour, and I couldn't see anywhere to charge my phone. And I just saw the last episode of Last White Lotus, and then I stood there, okay, I don't have any more battery left to buy a ticket for Arlanda Express. Yeah, you know. And the thing is, the real life constraints is I need to charge my phone. That's quite easy. But it's totally impossible if you don't have something to put your connection to it, right? And the thing is, don't gloss over it. Try to use the words that actually are the user's real-life constraints. You don't have to make it really, really, really strategic, for example. Sometimes the simple thing is actually the best. So, outline the opportunity. So what could change if you actually got this right? I know that many of you are working on making solutions that are going to make an impact. But what type of impact? Is it social? Is it personal? Is it for the society? Do we know what the opportunity is at the moment? Is it possible to talk about the disruption that you're going to make, maybe? I don't know. Think about it. And describe the potential impact. Sometimes the user are really obvious. I'm not going to say something about Viagra, but I guess that you know that it wasn't made for the solution that it's solving today. What about the team? The team who is making it. Is it meaningful? And what is meaning? Then we're going back to when we had philosophy at the university, for example. I think that we got philosophy in our time schedule a bit too early in life. And we should read it again. What about the business? The business for the consultancy firm, or the business for actually the business that you are working for at the moment? And also the world. When you're going to build the stories, don't try to make a story that functions for any type of audience. Think about who is this perfect for now, because people are actually different. People are actually having preferences, and sometimes people don't care about what you care about. And then reveal the reasoning. But yeah, you should take a photo, and you should also try to go back to this a couple of times during a month, for example. Or when you're planning a team stand-up. Or maybe you're having a onboarding session with a new person on the team. Maybe you're having an interview, for example, with a new person. And when you're going to make some priorities, go back to this. What are the biggest goals? Not gold. Goal, of course. But can you also put some gold around the goal? What's the best thing about what we are planning and what we are making and what we are creating, and obviously co-creating, because you're making things together with others, and that's the hard thing. And I know it's really obvious to say that strategy becomes real when people understand the why behind the work. And that's easy to say, but I think that you should remember the name of the conference. It's called Refill. Refill on these stories to make it relevant, to make it something that people can remember, and to make it real. And the refill could be, you can put other things up in it, but you also have to put the same things that you did in the start, because there are new people in and they weren't there when you were starting the whole process. And that's so difficult, because engagement, that starts with something in the start, and then if someone is leaving the projects or the assignment or the team, something's gone. I think also you can Google the words tacit knowledge. In Norway, we call it taus kunnskap. And that's the things that you know, but it's not written anywhere. It's impossible to go back in the documents, maybe. You have to talk to someone. And then you have to arrange for some meetings if you are going to leave this assignment. And I'm going to go into that team. I need to have some time with you. Even though maybe you have really bad relations with the manager somewhere, don't think about that part. Just try to pick me into your story and pick me into what are the constraints, what are the possibilities, what are the conflicts, because there's so many things laying in around the strategy and the way the products are explained. But then you go into this interpersonal conflicts, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, just to try to figure out what to deliver. It's not just the obvious things. All right. How can others act on this? Show how the story invites contribution and ownership as, and then make space for the co-creation. How is that possible? Make space for others and try to do something I'm really bad at. Shut up. Be quiet. Be curious. And give them words that they can carry the story further on. So, one moment of lived experience, shared together with the right metaphor at the right time, and the whole roadmap became more human. It's like a poem, or it's like some business chit-chat, but I think there's something here that you can use. And now I only have 1 minute left in the written down timeline, but I was actually given 10 more minutes. So either I'm just leaving now, or I can stay here. If you want to go, go. But if you have some cases that we can talk about, please share it with me. If you want us to use the 10 minutes left. Anyone having a case that, or do you actually have or if someone asks you, can we be better at storytelling? Can we make some more content? Can we be a bit more relevant? What are you working on? No, oh, there. Yeah, that's the professional whispering game. Yes, actually, you can just say it here.
What are the dangers about using storytelling?
Yeah. So the professional whisper game. I'm whispering something to you, and you are whispering it to her. And how many steps are we before it's a new story, it's a wrong story, anything. And then this is going back to, I guess, documentation. And also making sure when you are giving that presentation, for example, this is really hard. Maybe you can make kind of, this is a version of it, or it's a variant of what you are talking about. That was not the perfect question. That was a perfect question with a not perfect answer. But I think documentation and making it relevant in a specific area. This was told at that time, in this version of the product. Before this, this prioritizing process we're doing, for example. It's important to make a photo of where the products are at the time you are talking about it. Was that a bit clear? Maybe? Someone else? No? Then I think that words you can Google that I didn't have time to talk about: tacit knowledge, sense making. What makes sense? This thing are taking up a lot of space. Why is this relevant? Does it make sense? Why are we doing it? And also personal preferences. I work a lot with teams and individuals that want to get to know themselves. And then it's also quite connected with the people's habits, and also back to the sense-making part of What about the strategy? Is it some mismatch here? And what are the typical metaphors? Are the metaphors that you're using suitable? Can you switch those? And also, how many minutes can a human being be focused? For example, now, after this long day, would it be different to talk about these questions if it was in the start of the day? Try to remember that as well. Also, together with preferences and habits. When you're meeting in a team, have you decided on making the time slot for the stand-up, for example, in the morning? Is the morning the best time of the day, for example? And also, the storytelling is how craftsmanship scales, and it's how skill becomes shared. Try to find your way of that. Is it PowerPoints? Is it lectures? Is it small talk? Is it big talk? Yeah. I think I'll just leave you to it.